Hello and welcome. The New Year's is almost upon us. For some, it has already been, and for some of us, it's still to come, and for others, it's yet still to come. But once again, thank you and welcome to another episode of Focus. I'm going to wrap this year up quickly by doing 2 last reviews. I hope you got the time. I know it might be a little lengthy, but I promise you it's going to come out before you even know it, and you're probably going to listen to it and be like, is it over already? Anyway, I hope you're gearing up and you're going to have a good new year. I hope you've already had a good one. If so, Happy New Year and welcome back once again. And this is 2023's NASA's Year in Space. Okay, so this is going to be the last 2 reviews I do for the year. Sorry, yes, it's going to be about space once again, but it's NASA, so you know what can I say? Breaking records, returning asteroid samples are among the few of the things NASA did in 2023. In 2023, as NASA pushed the limits of exploration for the benefit of humanity, the agency celebrated astronaut Frank Rubio becoming the first astronaut to spend more than 1 year in space, delivered samples from an asteroid to Earth, sent a spacecraft to study a metal-rich asteroid for the first time, launched multiple initiatives to share climate data, advanced developments in sustainable aircraft, all while continuing preparations to send the first Artemis astronauts to the moon. This year, NASA continued to make the impossible possible. While sharing our story of discovery with the world, NASA Administrator Bill Nelson said, "We've launched missions that are helping tell the oldest stories of our solar system, continued to safely transport astronauts to the International Space Station to conduct groundbreaking science. Our Earth satellites are providing critical climate data to all people. We're making great strides to make aviation more dependable and sustainable, and we're growing our commercial and international partnerships as we venture back to the moon and onto Mars." NASA is home to the world's finest workforce, and there is no limit to what we can achieve when we work together. In support of the Biden-Harris administration, efforts to address climate change, NASA is leading the development of U.S. government-wide initiatives focused on bringing Earth science information to the public. The Earth Information Center, a new interactive exhibit at NASA headquarters in Washington, also includes an online experience that invites visitors to see Earth as NASA sees it from space, while providing critical data needed by researchers and policymakers. Among other notable mentions, the agency's James Webb Space Telescope, the largest, most powerful telescope humanity has ever put into space, celebrated 1 year of science. NASA and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or better known as DARPA, announced the 2 organizations will partner on Draco, demonstration rocket for agile cislunar operations, to test a nuclear-powered rocket in space as soon as 2027. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to that. This year, though, NASA celebrated 25 years of the International Space Station's operations as the agency continued to foster the growth of the commercial space economy. Supporting the development of commercial space station partnerships, it also marks the 65th anniversary of the agency itself. While celebrating these achievements, NASA also unveiled its NASA 2040 vision for the agency to ensure it remains a global leader in aerospace for decades to come. Below are additional highlights of NASA's endeavors in 2023 to explore the unknown in air and space, innovate for the benefit of humanity, and inspire the world through discovery. Understanding our changing planet. NASA has used its vantage point of space to better understand our changing planet since launching its first Earth science satellites in the 1960s. In 2023, NASA's Office of the Chief Scientist established a cross-agency working group and released a climate strategy. Other agency efforts to share scientific data on Earth.gov and other areas include working with its partners NASA, launched the U.S. Greenhouse Gas Center, opening access to trusted data on greenhouse gases. Data from NASA's Earth Surface Mineral Dust Source Investigation, or EMIT, instrument aboard the International Space Station is part of the Gas Center. EMIT identifies point source emissions of greenhouse gases with a proficiency greater than expected. NASA's tracking of greenhouse gases includes both global and focus estimates. Building on the month-by-month worldwide temperature data collected and released by NASA and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, both agencies are expected to announce soon 2023 was the warmest year in recorded history. And I don't know if you followed me from the beginning of this year. I actually said it was going to be like this. I wonder what Antarctica is looking like right now. Anyway, I digress. A NASA airborne campaign helped show that methane hotspots in the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta are more likely to be found where recent wildfires burned into the tundra, altering carbon emissions from the land. After successfully launching to space earlier this year, NASA's TEMPO tropospheric emissions monitoring of pollution mission to study air quality now is successfully transmitting information about major air pollutants over North America. NASA's SWOT, Surface, Water and Ocean Topography mission, offered them its first detailed perspectives of the Earth's surface water. Among natural hazards, NASA data was put to use in monitoring the heavy rains occurring in the drought-stricken areas, heat waves, wildfires, and subsequent health effects worldwide, as well as expansion of the NASA landslide area. There's a picture. Local students participate in an Earth Information Center (EIC) student engagement event Friday on June the 23rd, 2023 at the Mary W. Jackson NASA headquarters building in Washington. The EIC is a new immersive experience that combines live data sets with cutting-edge data visualization and storytelling to allow visitors to see our planet is changing. Sounds pretty spectacular. Wish I could check it out. Advancing Moon to Mars Exploration. This year, NASA shared results of its Moon to Mars Architecture Concept Review. As it builds a blueprint for human exploration throughout the solar system for the benefit of humanity, the agency also continues to take significant steps towards landing the first woman and person of color. Honestly, I've said it a few times and I don't like the way they describe it. But anyway, on the moon as part of the Artemis mission. Notably, in 2023, NASA announced crew for the Artemis II mission, the first Artemis mission with astronauts around the moon and back to Earth. The crew completed fundamental training and is now focusing on training for mission operations. Additional highlights for human deep space exploration include all major elements for the SLS, that's the Space Launch System, rocket for the Artemis II, are complete or nearing completion, including booster segments delivered to NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, and final core state assembly testing at NASA's Michoud assembly facility in New Orleans. Upgrades and refurbishments continue at Kennedy with the mobile launcher and launch pad, including a water flow test and launch operation simulation. NASA made progress on Artemis III, which will send the first humans to explore the region near the lunar South Pole, building on the previous flight tests and adding a human landing system and advanced spacesuits for moonwalks. The solid rocket booster segments and the 4 RS-25 engines are complete for the Artemis III SLS. As well as 3 of the 5 major core stage elements, teams are integrating elements of the Orion's crew module and the European service module. NASA selected the geology team to develop a lunar surface science plan for Artemis III. Beyond Artemis III, teams completed welding the primary structure for Gateway's Halo habitation and logistics outpost, where astronauts will live and work in lunar orbit. Fabrication is complete on the primary structure of the power and propulsion element that will provide power for communications and maintain the Gateway's orbit. In addition to the other hardware assembly and certification work for later missions, Artemis V will include a lunar terrain vehicle. NASA asked SpaceX to further develop Starship for Artemis IV and also selected Blue Origin to develop a human lunar lander for Artemis V. Experiments aboard the International Space Station focused on helping astronauts go farther and stay longer in space. This research included growing sustainable crops such as dwarf tomatoes, understanding how microbes adapt to space to protect crew health, and developing innovative materials that can weather the harsh environments of the Moon and Mars. To support future NASA moon missions with crew, the agency's CLPS, or Commercial Lunar Payload Services initiative, is in the final phase of preparations for the first 2 launches and landings to deliver NASA science and technology demonstrations to the lunar surface. 5 NASA payloads are aboard Astro Robotics. It is the Peregrine Mission 1 lander, which is set to launch no earlier than Monday, January 8th. New Year. Soon after, another 6 NASA payloads will launch no earlier than Friday, January 12th. Aboard Intuitive Machines Nova-C spacecraft. Since launching CLPS, NASA has contracted with 5 companies for 8 deliveries to the lunar surface. Most recently in 2023, NASA selected Firefly Aerospace for delivery. Among future CLPS payloads is NASA's first robotic lunar rover, Viper, short for the Volatile Investigating Polar Exploration Rover. The rover will trek into permanently shadowed areas to unravel the mysteries of the Moon's water and better understand the environment. In preparation for a landing in late 2024, scientists named Viper's mission area in honor of NASA's mathematician Melba Roy Mouton. Development, assembly, and testing also continues for the rover's solar and battery systems. While NASA is leading Artemis, international partnerships are a key part of advancing Moon-to-Mars exploration. In 2023, 10 additional countries signed the Artemis Accords, which lay out a common set of principles governing the civil exploration and use of outer space. So far, 33 countries have signed the Artemis Accords. I mean, you've just got a couple hundred to go, but so far so good. Maintaining low Earth orbit operations. Closer to Earth, the International Space Station, humanity's home in space, passed 25 years of operations. NASA and its partners officially extended operation plans for the Microgravity Science Laboratory for the benefit of humanity. Other space station milestones in 2023 include NASA and SpaceX's continued regular crew rotation flights to and from the station, helping maximize science in space, including NASA astronauts Frank Rubio and Nicole Mann, Josh Cassada, Stephen Bowen, Woody Hoburg, Laurel O'Hara, and Jasmine Mogbelli. Apologies if I got that wrong. Lived and worked aboard the station. Rubio spent a US record-breaking 371 days in space. It's well over a year. Contributing to a better understanding of long-duration spaceflight as we explore beyond our home planet. Crew 5 returned to Earth with MAN and Cassada, as well as JAXA, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Koichi Wakata, and Roscosmos cosmonaut Anna Kikina. Apologies once again. Crew members tested hydroponic and aeroponic techniques to grow plants without using soil. Released Uganda and Zimbabwe's first satellites, studied how liquids move in a container in simulated lunar gravity to generate data to improve moon rover designs and reinstall the station's bioprinting facility. Crew 6 included Bowen and Hoburg, as well as UAE's United Arab Emirates astronaut Sultan Alayende Yadi and Roscosmos cosmonaut Andrei Fediev. The crew assisted a student robotic challenge, studying plant genetic adaptations to space and monitoring human health in microgravity. The crew also released Saskatchewan's first satellite, which tests a new radiation detection and protection system. Crew 7 carried Mogbli's ESA's or the European Space Agency's astronaut Andreas Mogensen, JAXA astronaut Satoshi Furukawa, and Roscosmos cosmonaut Konstantin Borisov. This crew is conducting a variety of scientific research in areas such as the collection of microbial samples from the exterior of the space station, the study of human response to different spaceflight durations, and a study on astronauts' sleep. NASA and Boeing continued to make progress on the company's CST Starliner spacecraft. The Starliner and its crew of NASA's astronauts Barry Wilmore and Sunita Williams are preparing for the first flight with astronauts in 2024. The final demonstration prior to regular flights to the microgravity complex. Space station crew members completed 12 spacewalks to upgrade and conduct maintenance at the orbiting laboratory before the year's end. NASA's astronauts continued to work to install International Space Station Rollout Solar Systems, or the IROSA, which will increase power generation capability by up to 30% when fully complete. 6 commercial cargo missions and an international partner mission delivered about 28,000 pounds of science investigations, tools, and critical supplies to the space station. By year's end, about 12,500 pounds of investigations and equipment are planned to be returned to Earth, to researchers on Earth. Space station crew members welcomed the second NASA-enabled private astronaut mission, the Axiom Mission 2, to the orbital complex, advancing the agency's goal of commercializing low Earth orbit. NASA also selected Axiom Space for the third private astronaut mission and signed an order for the fourth mission with the company. Some additional key investigations launched and operating on station included NASA and ISS National Lab releasing a joint solicitation to address the goals of the Biden-Harris administration's Cancer Moonshot Initiative, which aims to conduct science in space to help cure disease on Earth. NASA's ILLUMAT Integrated Laser Communications Relay Demonstration Low Earth Orbit User Modem and Amplifier Terminal is now on station, which aims to test high data rate laser communication via the agency's LCRD, Laser Communication Relay Demonstration. Upgraded NASA's Cold Atom Laboratory to continue pioneering quantum discovery in space, and launched and installed its atmospheric wave experiment on station to provide insight into how terrestrial weather impacts space weather, which may affect satellite communications and tracking in orbit. Also, on the commercial front, NASA partnered with 7 US companies with unfunded Space Act agreements and released its third request for information for commercial space station services, while working toward a formal call for proposals to provide the agency with low Earth orbit services after the space station's retirement. And speaking of retirement, that in itself is a whole topic. I think that might just be what I start off for the new year, or maybe not. But what they do with the ISS instead of retiring it is really up for debate, and we should really get some thinkers on it. But in any case, I truly digress. Commercial space station partners met major design and engineering milestones and are on track to serve as potential replacements for the agency's microgravity research needs. 2 companies are also combining efforts which will allow NASA to apply funding to the other stations to accelerate development, reaching farther into the solar system and beyond. As part of its first year of operations, NASA's Webb telescope pulled back the curtain on some of the farthest galaxies, stars, and black holes ever observed, solved a long-standing mystery about the early universe, found methane and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere of a planet outside our solar system, and offered new views and insights into our own cosmic backyard. Additional achievements beyond the solar system included NASA made important contributions on 2 missions that international partners launched this year. ESA's Euclid mission to study dark energy and dark matter, as well as JAXA or JAXA's X-RIMS mission, a powerful new satellite that will revolutionize how we understand the hot X-ray universe. The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, NASA's next flagship observatory, finished camera assembly, and its coronagraph instrument passed its first big optics test. Autumn was host to mission milestone events that showcase the importance of our solar system's smaller bodies. NASA's OSIRIS-REx Origins Spectral Interpretation, Resource Identification, and Security Regolith Explorer spacecraft capped its 7-year journey with the successful deposit of a pristine sample of surface material from the asteroid Bennu in the Utah desert. NASA showed off material from asteroid Bennu for the first time. Initial studies of the 4.5 billion year old asteroid Bennu sample collected in space and brought to Earth show evidence of high carbon content and water, which together could indicate the building blocks of life on Earth may be found in the rock. The Psyche spacecraft also launched from Kennedy Space towards the asteroid Psyche. NASA's Lucy spacecraft conducted its first target asteroid flyby over asteroid Dinkinesh at the inner edge of the main asteroid belt, and the first images are now online. An annular eclipse occurred on October 14th, visible in parts of the United States, Mexico, and many countries in the South and Central America. NASA supported the event with engagement activities as well as science research. 9 sounding rockets were launched to study the ionosphere, an electrically charged layer of the atmosphere before, during, and after the peak of the eclipse. NASA also kicked off Heliophysics Big Year, a public engagement campaign to make science and information accessible to all and showcase heliophysics-related efforts. Technology innovations to benefit all. NASA's Deep Space Optical Communications experiment launched aboard the Psyche spacecraft and achieved first light, beaming back a laser encoded with the data from nearly 10 million miles away NASA will demonstrate data transmission rates 10 to 100 times greater than current radio frequency systems. The following are additional space technology advancements. Partnered with Aerojet Rocketdyne for qualification testing for the Advanced Electric Propulsion System. Pardon me. A cutting-edge solar electric propulsion thruster that will propel the Gateway. NASA provided 2 navigation systems to Astrobotic for use on its CLPS flight, a navigation Doppler LiDAR to provide enhanced guidance and navigation capabilities, and the terrain relative navigation to increase landing accuracy and help avoid hazards near the surface. NASA selected 11 US companies to develop technologies in support of long-term space exploration. The agency also selected 12 companies to use subject matter expertise and facilities to advance capabilities related to NASA's Moon to Mars objectives. Launched the Starlink swarm of small satellites to prove the agency's ability to coordinate and cooperate satellites without real-time input from mission control. Tested multiple additively manufactured rocket engine nozzles designs, including on the ground as well as on board the relatively space terrain rocket. Relativity. Finished MOXIE, Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment operations, and proved it is possible to extract oxygen from Mars. Evolving Aviation's Frontier. In 2023, NASA advanced aviation and aeronautics technologies to improve passenger experiences, stimulate US economic growth, and create a future of cleaner, quieter, safer skies. Through its Sustainable Flight National Partnership and other efforts, NASA supported the US goal of reaching net zero aviation greenhouse gas emissions by 2050, and the agency released a new strategic implementation plan to guide research for the next 20 years and beyond. NASA also made new progress in its Quest mission as the X-59 quiet supersonic experimental aircraft had its tail structure installed and was moved from the assembly facility for structural testing. Worked with Boeing on the Sustainable Flight Demonstrator project to produce and test the X-66A, a full-size experimental transonic truss brace wing craft that will inform a new generation of sustainable airliners. Enhanced transonic truss-braced wing research for sustainable aircraft designs using wind tunnel tests for model wings and supercomputing to look at aircraft concepts. They also use NASA's DC-8 Flying Lab to test emissions from Boeing's Eco Demonstrator Explorer aircraft to evaluate sustainable aviation fuel effects on contrails, as well as progressed its electrified powertrain flight demonstration project, which works to create hybrid powertrains for regional and single-aisle aircraft, with GE Aerospace and magniX testing power systems and demonstrator aircraft. Entered into an agreement with the U.S. Air Force AFWERX Agility Prime program that will allow NASA to test a new air taxi from the manufacturer Joby Aviation. And if you don't know, you should really check out Joby because they're a big name on the flying taxi, flying car scene, however you'd like to call it. To see how such vehicles could fit into the national aerospace, into the national airspace. They debuted the Advanced Capabilities for Emergency Response Operations project, which uses drones and advanced aviation technologies to improve wildland fire coordination and operations, and tested a mobile air traffic management kit. They also demonstrated a breakthrough 3D printable high temperature resistant alloy called GRX 810 that could be used for applications like components of aircraft and rocket engines. Aeronautics efforts led to advancements in construction of the Flight Dynamics Research Facility, the agency's first major wind tunnel in more than 40 years. NASA used simulators to collect data on how operating electric air taxis could affect pilots and passengers, and gathered data on new ways to use aviation, including autonomous air cargo delivery and air taxi operations. Finally, research from the X-57 Maxwell provided aviation researchers with hundreds of lessons learned, as well as a revolutionary development in areas ranging from battery technology to cruise motor control design. Maintaining focus on advancing DEIA, reaching diverse communities. NASA remained committed to advancing diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility (DEIA) at NASA and the STEM industry in 2023. NASA also took its Color of the Space documentary on a road tour, providing free in-person screenings at historically black colleges and universities, conferences and festivals nationwide. And the agency made its Spot the Station app available for download in multiple languages. As part of its plans to reach more audiences, NASA continued to focus on developing Spanish language content. This year, the agency digitally released its second issue of The First Woman, Expanding Our Universe, a graphic novel series in English and Spanish. NASA also launched its first full season of the Spanish language podcast Universio Curioso de la NASA, following Rubio's record-breaking year in NASA. NASA conducted news conferences in English and Spanish upon his return. Rubio also hosted the first tour of the space station in Spanish, produced a live broadcast in Spanish for the arrival of the OSIRIS-REx samples, as well as co-streamed another broadcast in Spanish for the annular eclipse produced by the NASA-funded Exploratorium Museum, revamped its Spanish language science website, and launched a hub for all Spanish content on the new nasa.gov site. With the launch of NASA's streaming platform, NASA Plus, the agency's debuted Spanish content also available for streaming, and developed Spanish language content for Europa Clipper's Message in a Bottle, which I also covered. Check out that episode as well, among other activities. Inspiring new generations of STEM students. Though through a variety of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM outreach activities, NASA continues to inspire the Artemis generation for students and encourage them to become the next scientists, engineers, and astronauts. NASA conducts its STEM work through partnering with key organizations, awarding a variety of grants, and more. Many of these efforts tie closely to NASA's DEIA activities. Other STEM highlights in 2023 included they awarded 11.7 million to 8 historically black colleges and universities through new data science equity, access and priority in research and education opportunity. These awards will enable students and faculty to conduct innovative data science research that contribute to NASA's missions. Partnered with the U.S. Department of Education to strengthen the collaboration between the two agencies, including efforts to increase access to high-quality STEM and space education to students and schools across the nation. They partnered with the U.S. Forest Service to bring Artemis moon trees to schools and education institutions through NASA's Artifact module. NASA received more than 1,200 requests. NASA announced its first Women Universities and College Awards. As part of a Biden-Harris administration initiative, the awards provided more than $5 million in funding to 7 women's colleges and universities to research and develop strategies that increase the retention of women in STEM degree programs and careers. Among Earth to Space calls, Louisiana Wyoming and Rhode Island hosted their first downlinks with the space station crew and students. NASA's Human Rover Exploration Challenge hosted student competitors in person for the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic. More than 500 students from around the world participated. They issued the NASA Space Tech Catalyst Prize to expand the agency's network of proposers and foster effective engagement approaches within NASA's early stage innovations and partnerships portfolio. They invited teams to participate in NASA's TechRise Student Challenge to design, build, and launch science and technology experience on commercial suborbital rockets and high-altitude balloons. Summer 2023 marked a series of flight tests and successfully flew 80 student payloads on high-altitude balloons with Aerostar and Worldview. By partnering with Minecraft to inspire students in a game-based learning platform, children were encouraged to build and launch rockets on moon adventures in the Minecraft universe. If you've got kids and you haven't done that yet, I advise you to sit them down, help them download it. If not, let them help you download it, and you should really play that game with your kids. It's really good. NASA Space Universe Space Technology Research Grants Program, which supports academic researchers, surpassed a significant milestone, having funded more than 1,000 grants pursuing exciting space technology research since. NASA's growing public engagement efforts. Public engagement remains a cornerstone of NASA's mission to share the agency's work with the world by participating in opportunities to engage the public in a variety of venues, activities, and events. NASA continued to connect with more people ever than before this year. They grew the agency's social media following to 389.5 million so far in 2023, up 18% from 330 million in 2022. Shares on the social media posts across the agency reached 6.36 million in 2023, lower than the 2022 total, which was 8.7 million. NASA accounts reached follower milestones this year, passing 78 million followers on X, 26 million followers on Facebook, and 97 million followers on Instagram. NASA's flagship YouTube channel passed 11 million. That's not bad. NASA elevated its digital platform for revamping its flagship and science websites, adding its first on-demand streaming service, and upgrading the NASA app. With these changes, everyone now has access to a new world of content from the space agency. NASA's new streaming service, NASA Plus, launched on November 8th, and as of November 28th had 38,000 hours of content watched. The NASA app had about 34 million lifetime installs across all platforms. Apple Podcasts Latin America selected Universo Curioso de la NASA as a show we loved in 2023. This is the first time a NASA podcast has received this recognition. NASA podcasts surpassed 8 million all-time plays on Apple Podcasts this year as well. Supported White House events to reach the public in new and engaging ways, including participating in the White House Easter egg roll. Bringing in astronauts and STEM activities, we engaged over 30,000 visitors, including students and children, with more than 148,000 mentions on social media across all platforms, as well as participating in Halloween at the White House, engaging 6,000 local school children and military families with STEM activities. They also worked with Elmo to introduce a video greeting from NASA astronauts aboard the space station for the Independence Day celebration and concert. NASA centers around the country hosted more than 1,289 in-person and virtual events with local, regional, national, and international reach, and engaged with more than 6.3 million people through these efforts. They participated in one of the largest state fairs in the United States in Columbus, Ohio, reaching an estimated 100,000 on one milestone attendees through talks. Hosted an in-person international Observe the Moon Night, an annual celebration of lunar science and exploration for the first time since 2019. NASA's arts program curated the first exhibition of work from NASA's art collection, titled Launching the Future, Looking Back to Look Forward, and displayed 16 pieces at the National Academy of Sciences. Since opening its doors, NASA's Earth Information Center has received more than 3,400 visitors and hosted more than 1,500 guided tours. More than 800 eligible schools, universities, museums, libraries, and planetariums applied to participate in the NASA Artifacts Module program to receive more than 200 historic NASA objects for their STEM programs. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson was among the participants for Our Blue Planet, a concert celebrating Earth and its waters. Snoopy's Zero Gravity Indicator rode on NASA's Artemis 1 mission and was returned to Peanuts, and now is on public display at the Schultz Museum. NASA partnered with Google Arts and Culture on a digital artist project titled A Passage of Water that incorporated NASA's freshwater data from the SWOT mission and GRACE Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment satellites. NASA partnered with Crayola as well, education for its 2023 Creativity Week, reaching 3.5 million kids with Artemis information and creative activities. The U.S. Postal Service issued an OSIRIS-REx postal stamp in association with the return of the asteroid Bennu sample in September. NASA also approved and collaborated on 96 documentaries, 21 TV, web, and streaming shows, 16 feature films, and 5 immersive experiences, including the one with Tom Hanks. I was going to mention that if it didn't. Which is a new immersive experience, Moonwalkers and Art House, Beyond the Light, and an upcoming collaboration with influencer Mr. Beast. NASA received 4,500 requests for NASA-branded merchandise and/or novelty items from notable brands like Adidas, Garmin, Wamo, Lego, Prada, Crate Plus, Barrel, Potriban, Kids, Odyssey Toys, H&M, Casio Electronics, the Smithsonian, Gap, Round 2, Timex, Sprayground, and many more. They also published its branding guidelines as part of the NASA Brand Center, collaborated with Amazon Studios on the A Million Miles Away film starring Michael Pena, telling the story of a retired astronaut, Jose Hernandez. Rubio narrated a special video from space highlighting Hernandez and other Latino pioneers for Hispanic Heritage Month. Celebrated designer Richard Dane with an Agency Exceptional Public Achievement Medal for his outstanding achievement in creating the NASA worm logotype. Collaborated on more than a dozen Artemis documentaries with outlets ranging from PBS to the National Geographic and Disney. The Artemis 2 crew was featured on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, The Talk, and the Guardians of the Galaxy premiere. Artemis 2 NASA astronaut Victor Glover participated in the premieres of the National Geographic's The Space Race at the Tribeca Film Festival at DC and Docks. They also attracted major talent for various mission-related projects and outreach initiatives, including Chris Pratt, Harry Styles, Lance Bass for the annular solar eclipse, Aisha Tyler, Adam Driver, Paul Rudd, Scarlett Johansson, Jeffrey Wright, Jason Schwartzman, and an International Space Station downlink with Post Malone for Earth Day. NASA also participated in concerts at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts for Earth Day and Wolf Trap for Star Wars, and Holtz the Planets. They also did feature films including A Million Miles Away and Disney's Marvels were uploaded to the International Space Station for the astronauts to enjoy at their leisure. More than 1 million people around the world joined NASA's Message in a Bottle campaign, inviting people to sign their names to a special message that will travel 1.8 billion miles on the agency's Europa Clipper mission to explore Jupiter's icy moon Europa. The message, a poem titled In Praise of Mystery, a poem for Europa, written by U.S. Poet Laureate Ada Limon, will be engraved on the robotic spacecraft. So yeah, just before I end it, I did actually do an episode on this, but as of the last time, that number is 2,518,139 people have added their names to be sent into the stars. Now, I would say this is a longer than usual episode, but this is actually how I first started. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen. I appreciate all my listeners from all over the world: Spain, Germany, France, Denmark, China, America, Britain, St. Lucia. There's more, I could list them. I appreciate you all very much. Like I said, Earth is amazing. Not just the people, not just the places, but what we have done with it all. Like I said, there's a lot going on in the world. Sometimes we just need to take a minute to focus. For links to the articles, check out the episode description. If you want to leave a comment, check out the trailer description for the email address. For topics like these and more, check out future episodes. Like I said, the world is an amazing place. There's a lot going on, and sometimes we just need to take a moment to focus.